people will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Full time in the opening match of this Sunday at the World Cup. It is Spain 4, Saudi Arabia 0. Ferran Torres nearly adding a fifth. It was disallowed for offside, but as it stands, it was Lamine Yamal opening the scoring in the 10th minute. Mikel Oyarzabal with a brace and an own goal in the second half to give Spain a comfortable victory in the end. Welcome into our Golazo Matchday studios alongside Najariel Coker and Marcelo Balboa. I'm Chris Whittingham. And guys, for Spain, it proved to be a comfortable performance in the end. It was exactly the response that they needed after drawing their first game against Cabo Verde. What did you guys see that was different about the Spain performance over the 90 minutes?
I'll let you start, young man.
What did I see different? I saw Yamal that came into the game, sparked a team that was struggling in the first game. He came, he did his thing. They gave him a rest the second half. I'll give him credit. I think they kept with Torres and a few guys that they brought in. I think that they kept that same energy, but completely still a different team when you have a special player like Yamal. And when you have a player like that, you rally around him. I don't think you missed that creativity the second half. It was nice. It was a good flow. The ball was moving side to side. But to say that they're as dangerous as the first half, I would say not even close.
I would say, again, credit to the manager to be brave enough to start his strongest lineup at the start of the game, especially when you talk about needing a response in the performance from that draw versus Cape Verde and all the negative press that they've had to deal with and the criticism. Some managers would have probably thought, you know what, I don't want to risk Lamine and I want to keep him on the bench and wait to see how the team progresses, because reality of it is, whichever lineup Spain put out there should have been good enough to beat Saudi Arabia.
Should have been good enough to beat Cape Verde as well.
Should have been good enough to get Cape Verde as well, but that was a bit of a reality check to them. So for me, we've seen other nations and managers try and be too smart, over tactical, and try and, you know, do things where, for me, it makes no sense. You want to start your strongest lineup as your starting lineup, try and get the result, and then maybe you should be professional enough to see out a game. And Lamine started today. We saw the difference between the first half and the second half. He's infectious in how he plays for this team. And again, I'll say it, best player in world football. You've just seen it there in just 45 minutes worth of work, and you can see the difference in the drop-off in the second half. Yes, I know people would say, well, they're already 3-0 up at this point there. It's easy for them. They can take their foot off the gas a bit. But at the end of the day, we know now this new format we're seeing in the World Cup, that goals will play a part.
3 goals in the first half.
What team?
With him in the game.
With him in the game. And then, you know, now, obviously, you want to score as many goals as possible because that will come down as a factor moving forward in this tournament. But for me, it was a performance where, whether you like it or not, the headline is Lamine Yamal and the difference he makes and how he improves this Spain side.
We've talked about, though, and we'll talk about that difference with Lamine Yamal being on the field as opposed to being off the field. And here's what it looks like from a statistical point of view in the game. Obviously, 17 shots to 5. Lamine took a fair few of those. The chances created, the touches in the opposition box. Obviously, it is a completely different game state that the changes have to come into at the half. It was Yamal coming off, and Yeremy Pino came on. Ferran Torres also came on for Mikel Oyarzabal as well at halftime. But when we talk about Yamal, and Nigel, this is one of the things that you talked about, the sort of dependence. When we're talking about a player in Yamal who is working his way back from injury at this World Cup, plays 45 minutes after playing 15 in the first game. When you talk about a team that's this good, that has this much talent, and yet is still dependent on a singular player to be healthy, to be fit. Look, the greatest players in the world ultimately decide the outcomes of games. That has been the case for World Cups for years. But are you surprised at the degree to which Spain need this player to be healthy in order to be at their very best?
I must say I'm surprised, because you look at the other names, the other players that they have available. They've got some top talent there. Olmo, you know, there's Sabah up top. They've got some really good players, but I'm very surprised at the level of how much they need Lamine Yamal to be in this team right now. Because we talk about, again, Nico Williams coming in as well. He came into the game, another winger, but he doesn't have the same influence and aura that Lamine seems to have presented to this Spanish side. So for me, it is a bit of a worry. And as you said about the greats, the top players will be able to make games and decide games. He is a great already, and he's still so young.
He's 18.
That's the scary thing about it. But you'd have to say he is a great. And Marcelo said it earlier in the early segment. Spain rely on him as much as Argentina rely on Messi. That's already to say. You're talking about two great nations, historic nations who've already won World Cups. He is at that level now where Spain rely on him to be on that pitch to really have that extra boost and confidence and to help them get over the line.
Yeah, I think when you look at throughout history of soccer, teams, special teams have that player. Brazil relied on Neymar. Argentina relies on Messi. Croatia relied on Modric. So, I mean, you can keep going down the list. In his heyday, Portugal relied on Ronaldo. So you can keep going down. United States relies on Christian Pulisic. So I think when you look at special players like him, when he's on the field, it's just a different level. You've got to raise your level to what he's doing, because if not, you know, I mean, he's out there by himself. He's on his own island. But every team has that one player. If they're making a run, if they're going to make a run at this World Cup, that one player, their special player, France Mbappe, they rely on Mbappe. So I think throughout the history of soccer, you can see that kind of thing. When you look at Spain, we're used to the teams from the past. You know, I mean, Xavi, I mean, you can keep going. Iniesta, you can keep going.
Multiple players in that team, yes.
And Argentina, Maradona, they had multiple players, a few. But when you look at this team, they've got good players, but not great players that can win you a game. And this is the guy. And you can see when he's on the field, when Messi's on the field, even when Modric's on the field, their teams go to another level. And I think that's what we saw the first 45 minutes.
Well, we saw it in the second half as well. We saw the drop-off in the second half. And, you know, we saw the stats earlier and the difference in what they did and how aggressive they were in the first half to the second half. And even with the eye test as well, you got the feeling in the game. First 10 minutes in the second half, it was great how Spain looked. And then after that, it was just a massive drop-off. The same enthusiasm, energy and quickness, it just wasn't there. Saudi Arabia tried to get back more into the game. But for me, match winner. That's just the best way to describe him compared to Spain. Like Marcelo said, they've got very good players, but he is a match winner. There isn't that many match winners in this Spain squad compared to him.
Let's talk a bit about Saudi Arabia, because they still have that one game left in the group against Cabo Verde, which could potentially decide everything for them. When we talk about a Saudi project, they're going to host this thing in 8 years. They put so much money into their domestic league. And yet, really, after that first half against Uruguay, they hung on that second half to get to a point. And here, they looked off the pace, certainly in comparison to Cabo Verde, the way that they played Spain. Where do you think they sit in this group, or do you think they have any chance of advancing now?
Difficult, but they do have a great opportunity in the last game, because who knows if they can play the way Cabo Verde played against Spain that well. Now you put yourself, when you get a number one team playing here, you're fighting, you're scratching, you're intense, you're concentrated. Now you level out the playing field. I think Cabo Verde think, or maybe know that they can beat Saudi Arabia. They can give them a game. So they're going to open themselves up a little bit more. And that's going to be, I think, where Saudi Arabia has a good chance. They're very good on counterattacks. We saw they got in a few times on a counterattack against Spain. But I'll be this. I think either one has a great opportunity. It's going to come down to the last game. We know it's going to come down to the last game. But, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think it'll come down to the last game. And I think that'll be a very good game, very even game, one of the most even games we'll see. And a little bit of luck, we'll see who wins. But that's probably one of the most even games we'll see in this World Cup.
Great opportunity for both nations. I will slightly favour Cabo Verde. I think for me that when you look at what they've done so far, how they've performed and everything about them and the progression they've shown, and history beckons is the best way to put it. And I think that not many opportunities.
You've only seen them play one game and you're already putting them
No,
one
because
game. What happens if they come out against Uruguay?
I'm going back to Cabo Verde in the African Cup of Nations, the progressions that I've seen, and I've always been high on them. They've got a very good manager, and for me, I think that they've got a real good opportunity. And it's not just on that game of Spain, because this is before that. This starts on how they've progressed so well, developed in the African Cup of Nations, challenging the big boys of the continent of Africa, and they've come good through it. So I think that for me, I slightly do favour them.
Given their goal difference today, though, Saudi Arabia now down to -4. They're going to have to perform well in that final game against Cabo Verde. They'd have a chance of advancing. We return much more on this game. Spain winning by 4 goals. And then we'll talk to our Spanish football expert, Phil Kitromilides, next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. They're not like us. We need to get out of here now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Golazo Matchday here. Spain beat Saudi Arabia by 4-0. Lamine Yamal is in from the start and makes the impact that the Spanish were hoping for, getting that first goal of the game and making himself a threat all throughout that first half before getting subbed off after the first 45 minutes. And let's bring you the SofaScore ratings for these two teams in this one. And you have to imagine that Spain's will be fairly decent. And there it is, Mikel Oyarzabal as the scorer of 2 goals. Gets the highest rating, Yamal at 8.3. Rodri as well in midfield, and everyone else getting at least that 7 rating in that starting 11. Fair enough, guys. I think most players in that starting group turned in a solid performance.
Yeah, it's a game that Spain really dominated. I don't think you can really argue about it. Oyarzabal getting the goals and Lamine, the influence of him. So it was a very comfortable, confident performance by Spain. They needed to show reaction, and they did.
Yeah, I don't think you can question it. They controlled the game from the first minute. They took care of business. They put it second half. I feel like they put it in cruise control.
Yeah,
they were knocking it around, so no one got hurt. I think it's a huge win for Spain.
Sad thing is Saudi Arabia didn't really test them. Didn't really push them enough, really, to say that to question some of the performances. It was a very comfortable, very easy performance. But again, you know, the main impact for me, the main catalyst is Lamine Yamal.
And he is the catalyst in a 4-0 win. And for more on the game, let's bring in our Spanish football expert, Phil Kitromilides, to talk about this performance. And Phil, what did Lamine bring that was so desperately missing from this team?
Where do we start? I think all the players and the management team before the start of the game said they needed to be more intense in this game. They needed to move the ball quicker. The ball circulation had to be a lot smarter, a lot sharper. And we saw that Lamine Yamal brought that intensity. Inside the first minute, there was a dribble and a run and an attempt. I think his first 20 minutes are absolutely brilliant. Then it's true that he drops off a little bit and he goes off at halftime. He is not fully fit. But make no mistake about this. This is being set up, certainly here in Spain. This is Lamine Yamal's World Cup. The front page of one of the top-selling sports papers in Spain today, the front page was just a picture of Lamine Yamal's smiling face, and the headline was, "Do your magic, haz tu magia." There's a lot of pressure. There is a lot of expectation on a guy who's still a teenager. Let's not forget, he's still a teenager. He's only the second player, 18 or younger, to open the scoring at a World Cup match. The other was Pelé when he was 17 in 1958. He's still incredibly young. He is ridiculously precocious. He is absurdly talented. And he's not yet 100% fully fit. So it was really important for him to come in, score. I think for him, it's really important for him to score. He saw all the other superstars score in this World Cup, show what he can do, get 45 minutes under his belt, and work towards being 100% for the Uruguay game and then the knockout stages.
Phil, we're in the studio and have an opinion of Lamine Yamal saying that he's as important to this Spain national team as Messi is to Argentina. So is that something that you'd co-sign and agree on? Or is that the feeling in Spain itself as a nation?
Yeah, it is the feeling, certainly. I think you're right about that. There's genuinely a feeling that Spain are a really great team, a really great unit, and they have this difference maker in Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is who makes Spain real candidates. And without him, if they were to lose him, if he was to relapse on the injury, remember it's a difficult muscular injury with a 30% chance of relapse. If he was to relapse emotionally, it would be a massive, massive blow for Spain. Forget about the footballing things. Emotionally, it would be absolutely huge. I mean, we're talking about a player who's, I think he's played 26, 27 games for Spain. He scored 7 goals. For Spain, it's not as if he's completely blown away all the opposition. He's not their leading goal scorer. He's not their main goal threat. And yet he is the difference maker. He is the one that can unlock defenses. And that's so important for the way that Spain play. We know the way Spain play. And Spain on a bad day, which is what we saw against Cape Verde, absolutely desperately cries out for someone like Lamine Yamal. So he is really, really important, what he brings footballing wise, but also kind of like emotionally as well. I think the players, the fans certainly feel like we've got Lamine Yamal. He's our guy. And if we need him, he's the one that can make a difference.
Why are you smiling so much?
I just love the way Phil tried to say Spain on a bad day against Cape Verde. I like how he sneaked that one in there.
But that was going to be my question. Cape Verde.
It wasn't a good day, was it?
No, but Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, that back line hasn't been tested yet. Really hasn't been tested. How good is that defense, and how well will we see them play throughout the tournament? Because they got to play Uruguay next, and it only gets more difficult from here.
I think it's a good question. They haven't been tested. I think, Unai Simon in goal has definitely played more of the ball with his feet than he has with his hands. You know, he's barely had any saves to make. It's a centre-back pairing of Aymeric Laporte and Pau Cubarsí. It's a blend of youth and experience, one which we didn't necessarily 100% know was going to be the centre-back pairing for the World Cup before the squad announcement. But at the moment, it seems to be working pretty well. I like what happened today with the fullbacks. I like that Pedro Porro came in at right back to replace Marcos Llorente against sort of deep defences. He's really good going forward. Gives a lot of depth to the attack, and his deliveries are brilliant. So I think it's a pretty solid back line. And in front of them, you've got Rodri as well, and Pedri, whose defensive contributions have increased enormously since he started playing a little bit more deeper with Barcelona. So I think they're pretty solid, but you're absolutely right. They have barely been tested at all. And let's see if they get a bit more of a workout against Uruguay in the final game.
Phil, what's your opinion on Dani Olmo starting today and what he brings to this national side and the difference he makes?
I'm glad you asked me that, Nigel. We didn't agree what questions you were going to ask, but I was thinking, I hope he asked me about Dani Olmo, because I thought he was brilliant today, and I thought that him coming into the midfield completely changes the structure, and him in that kind of position, he is the player that Spain need in that kind of position. He knows exactly where he needs to be. In those tight areas where there really isn't much space, he is exactly the kind of player you need. And then don't underestimate the kind of understanding he has with playing alongside Pedri and Lamine Yamal week in, week out at Barcelona. They do have a brilliant understanding. Both Olmo and Lamine have spoken about how much they like playing alongside each other. Of course, Olmo coming into the side meant that Pedri played a little bit further back. And I just thought that the team was really, really well set up today. And I was looking at the Sofa scores at the start of the segment and saw that Dani Olmo got a 7.4, which I think is decent. I would have added maybe a couple of more decimals to that, because I thought he was really, really good. And I think he has to start now. And I think that has to be the midfield. Obviously, it can change in terms of the opponents and the different kind of games. But against teams that are going to sit deep, where there isn't going to be a lot of space, I think Pedri playing behind and Olmo playing in that number 10, attacking midfielder, whatever role you kind of want to call it, I think he is the person for that. And obviously, you've got Mikel Merino to come off the bench as well to change things up if you need a slightly different dimension to the attack from that position. But yeah, really, really impressive Dani Olmo today.
And the one player that we have somehow not discussed is the player who gets a brace in the game. That, of course, being Mikel Oyarzabal, who leads the line. And he is not a very heralded player, but he has always done his job for the Spanish national team. What, in your mind, is the job that he does leading the line and playing off of the talents that surround him?
I mean, he's a goal scorer, Chris. It's a really good record. He's got 27 goals in 55 games. He is low-key, under the radar. It's probably because he plays for Real Sociedad. He doesn't play for one of the big Spanish sides, so people don't necessarily watch him week in, week out. But he didn't start his career as a number 9. At Real Sociedad, he's played alongside the likes of Sorloth, alongside Alexander Isak. He started off playing maybe a little bit wider, maybe as a number 10, and he's kind of morphed into this number 9. His movement and his mobility allow him to move into spaces which allow other people to occupy the number 9 space. And he's okay, we didn't see it against Cape Verde, but in theory, he's a really good finisher. He is bang in form, super full of confidence as well. He's got an unbelievably strong shot, and I actually think he's got a good shot from distance as well, which we haven't necessarily seen too much from the World Cup, but that can be important in breaking down kind of deep defenses as well. So he's very unheralded. I'm actually surprised because he's got a buyout clause. Real Sociedad fans won't thank me for saying this. He's got a buyout clause, about 75 million euros, 70 million euros, which isn't that much for like a top striker. He's leading, he's starting for Spain at the World Cup. He scored loads of goals for them. And it's not a huge amount of money for a 28-year-old striker in his prime. But anyway, I'm a fan of Mikel Oyarzabal, and, he scored 2 important goals today.
Put yourself, and Alison Williams needs to be healthy. That would help this team, too.
Yeah.
Give me your best 11. If you were going against Uruguay, what's your best 11 right now?
So Unai Simon, I think, the starting 11 that we saw today, Unai Simon starting in goal, Pedro Porro, Laporte, Cubarsí and Cucurella at the back. has to be Pedri and Rodri in midfield with Olmo ahead of them. Lamine, let's see him start. Let's see him play at least 60 minutes, 60, 75 minutes. They're being cautious with him. He's desperate to play every minute that he can, but they're being cautious. Let's see if Nico Williams can start with Mikel Oyarzabal up front. I think that's the gala 11 for Spain. Whether we see it against Uruguay or later on in the tournament remains to be seen. But Nico Williams getting back to full fitness, it would be a big, big boost if he could start against Uruguay.
And who stops Valverde?
Well, combination of players. Maybe you might want to think about bringing Marcos Llorente back in at right back to try and help.
Or even Ruiz.
Rodri, but yeah, or even Fabian Ruiz. But, you know, I think Spain won't necessarily be thinking about that. I think they'll be thinking about sort of front foot and trying to replicate the kind of performance that they did today. With the speed of passing, it is so important for Spain not to play those slow lateral passes that go nowhere, to move the ball quickly, one touch and move. And that's what we saw today. And it was really, really impressive. And that's what they've got to keep doing.
And they get a 4-0 win as a result over Saudi Arabia after drawing that first game of the group against Cabo Verde. Phil Kitromilides will be with us all tournament long as Spain are in it. Appreciate the time, sir.
Pleasure, guys.
That is Phil with his reactions on the victory for La Roja today. Much more on the World Cup is on the way on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Tillman, too.
This is Golazo Matchday, taking you through some of the best performing young players of this World Cup so far, including Alex Freeman of the United States. Bouhaddi was fantastic in that midfield for Morocco. It's almost unfair to include Lamine Yamal in this discussion. Yes, he is still, we're talking under 21s, but he still qualifies, but he's in another stratosphere. Manzambi of Switzerland among the players that have impressed so far. So I wanted to ask you guys what you guys think, but also our friends at SofaScore put together a list of notable under 21 performances that we've seen at this World Cup so far. It is always a stage for young players to announce themselves on. Let's get the SofaScore opinion of this. João Neves, another player who, because he's won back-to-back Champions Leagues, it's one of those where you don't really talk about him as a young player anymore, but he's still right up there in terms of performance. We have Freeman, we have Yerenki, who scored the winner for Ghana, Kubarsi, who's played the 2 games at center back for Spain, Diamande and Yamal rounding out that list.
I would just like to say, Chris, just everything you've introduced there, João Neves, back-to-back Champions League winner. Saw this young man play before he got his move to PSG in the Under-21s Championship against England. I didn't realise this kid would develop so quickly in such a short space of time. I said it not too long ago, a few days ago. This kid is world-class. And I say he's world-class already, playing in that centre midfield role. He can do every single role that's required playing centre midfield. Comfortable getting the ball from deep, can dictate play already in midfield and control the flow of the game, can score a goal. He has an unbelievable Superman leap for him for being, I think, 5'8". He can get up and score from set pieces for them. He has everything you need to be an all-round midfielder, and this kid already is in a league of his own when it comes to world-class midfielders. Doesn't get a lot of mention, so that is the one time I can say I agree with SofaScore. That is accurate. That is as accurate as it gets for the #1 rated player there.
Yeah, he's got the goal in the game for Portugal. But let's talk about the individuals. And I guess, we talk about some of the players on this list. We knew coming in, Kubarsi's been great for Barcelona. Yamal's been great for Barcelona. Neves for PSG. And even Diamande, a lot of people had picked him up. We wanted to pick maybe some players that we hadn't really discovered until the beginning of this World Cup. So, Nigel, we're going to start with you. And you have picked out an Ivorian that has really stood out to you, and Christian Inau in midfield.
Yes, Christian Inau, for me, is someone that I would say is a hidden gem. Because we could say Bouhaddi. I know Bouhaddi, great player, the Moroccan international, great. But this young man here is an absolute hidden gem that a lot of people won't even know about. 20 years old, another centre midfielder. The way he played against Germany, he played beyond his years. Comfortable getting the ball in deep areas, got a good turn on him, forward passes, can put a tackle in. He's got everything, got all the great foundation skill sets you need to be a top midfielder. If he can add some goals to his game, it's the next level. Let's not forget, he's only 20 years old. And I went with him because he's a proper hidden gem that a lot of people are not aware of. But now you heard his name first and you've seen where he's at now. You're going to see him go and do bigger and better things, because this is the next hidden gem coming underneath Bouhaddi, the Moroccan 18-year-old who we got to watch covering the Europa League this year. And not surprising how well he's done and talking about making a move to Arsenal. This is a real hidden gem that a lot of players and a lot of people are not talking about.
Yeah, playing in Turkish football at Trabzonspor. And Nigel, from working with you for a few years now, obviously you were a central midfield player, you were a central defender, you are aware of the positions that you play, but you've always had an eye for central midfielders. And what is it about this guy's game that it stands out to you sort of when you compare it to yourself or to other players that have played your position?
I think for me, the first thing you look at is when you're talking about a World Cup. You're talking about the age and being in a World Cup, the environment and the pressures that come with it, and representing certain nations, representing the Ivory Coast. You're playing against Germany, an established nation with some top players in there as well that you're going to come across. But the way he handled himself in that game, even when they were winning 1-0 up and still getting on the ball, turns in midfield areas, aware of the space, taking on the back foot control, turning and driving and attacking the space. He has all the great attributes that he's playing beyond these years that you think that, for me, that's something that a 30-year-old will do or a 28-year-old will be able to do and understand in the moments of the game. I think that everything he does in that midfield role reminds me a little bit of Conte as well for France when he's getting those turns in that deep area and everything like that. But doing that at 20 years old in a World Cup against Germany, that's something you can say, that player's got something special about him.
And the Ivorians have been incredibly impressive so far and need to get a result in the final day of the group to advance. Now, Marcelo, this is a player that we might be familiar with.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're familiar with, but I think a lot of fans that might have turned on the U.S. might know about Pulisic and McKennie and some of the guys that played in Europe might have been surprised at what Alex Freeman has given to this tournament so far.
I think when you look at this kid, he came with Orlando City and he just kind of blossomed. He came in with the national team. We're always looking for a right back. Pochettino decided to go 3 in the back. Now he's that third center back. And you can just see his numbers. I mean, a goal already, 5 tackles, 4 interceptions. I mean, he's played every minute of every game. But this is a guy that's just special in that area because you don't have a lot of guys. He's got great pace, great timing on reading the play, which is huge as you're playing with 3. Great recovery pace between him and Richards covering the right side with Ream. So when I look at this kid, I see soccer intelligence, when to go forward, when to drop back, when to get into the attack, when I need to tackle. And everything we've seen that blossom from Orlando City and MLS into Villarreal, into the U.S. national team. And that's something that we've talked about this year. The back lines have been a little shady. It's going to be Richards and who else we've been talking about for a while. And over the last 2 months, he's solidified that spot alongside Richards. And eventually we'll have to find a left side after Ream retires. But when you talk about solid, you talk about good in the air, pace going forward, everything you would want in a wing back or right back. And I think this kid is going to get more opportunities at Villarreal to get more games in, to play more. And I think this kid's going to be special. And we've got a solid foundation in the back for U.S. soccer.
Can I just add something to that as well?
You can always add something, my friend.
You make a great point. When you're talented like that as a young player, if you become a student of the game, you look to the senior players. And what is great for Freeman right now is having Tim Ream next to him. Tim Ream, for me, is one of the best defenders that US has. And I know people say about his age, but no, it's about football intelligence, knowing how to read play, what to do, when to step, when to drop off. So Freeman can learn a lot by playing alongside Tim Ream and just really tapping into that wisdom and knowledge, which is what good young players do. They tap into senior players. How can I get better? What do I need to do? And that's what you do when you've got good senior pro next to you. And, you know, played with Tim, and I know Tim. I think that is what he will do, pass down that knowledge, and it's only going to benefit Freeman. Wow. What?
Nothing.
Oh, play this guy.
But I will say that, I mean, just in terms of projecting, obviously you're trying to figure out, can a player move to the next level? It's worth saying, by the way, not only is he the best player, among the best players rated amongst the young players in the tournament, with one of the best teams in the tournament so far in the U.S., he is rated as the best player. Alongside Gio Reyna, obviously there is the fact that he's played very little. Reyna, in terms of players who played a lot of minutes, Balogun is up there, Pulisic is up there, Malik Tillman is up there. But Marcelo, you mentioned his history in MLS. At the start of last season, the start of 2025, so 18 months ago, he's trying to get a role with Orlando City. He's trying to play some minutes as a backup right back. And then you become the starter. Then you play for the national team in the Gold Cup. Then you get a move to Europe. Then you actually become the regular solidified starter at your position in the national team. That's so many levels to climb in 18 months, and yet at no point has he looked fazed or awed by any of it.
Maturity. I think when you put him around guys, listen, especially with playing right next to Chris Richards, with all the experience he has at Crystal Palace, you've got to have your head on straight. And this kid, when you talk to him and you see him, he's not a jokester. He's a solid player. I mean, everything you would want in a professional. And let's be honest, when you go to Europe, you have to be mature. You have to be able, because you're getting in with the guys that livelihoods are important. You talk about relegation. There's no relegation in MLS. So when I look at him, I look at a kid who is intelligent, who is a student of the game, soccer IQ off the chart, the way he reads the game, and he's an athlete. And he's an athlete and a half. And when you're an athlete, I was not an athlete. So I had to think the game a lot more because my speed wouldn't help me recover when I make a mistake. He's got all. He's got everything. And that pairing, you could even go to a back four if you want, and you can play him as the other center back.
You know, the cherry on top for him as well is he's a threat for set pieces as well.
True.
So that can add value to him for top level. You talk about the top level teams in Europe. If you can do your job defensively and show that you're capable and also be a threat for a team going forward, they're going to start talking in the same level as maybe Van Dijk and stuff move forward. I'm not saying he's Van Dijk now. I'm just saying. Because that's the problem sometimes. Some people take what you say and run with it in a different direction.
Exactly.
I'm doing comparisons, which is what you're supposed to do. Characteristics, traits. If he starts scoring goals, then when you talk about top-level centre-backs and top-level defenders, you not only can you defend, but you can also be a threat for your team moving forward. And he already has that threat and ability to score goals.
So the player that I've gone for is my under 21 so far that has sort of most stood out to me is the impact that Johan Manzambi made coming off the bench for Switzerland, and particularly that second game against Bosnia-Herzegovina when they were struggling, when they needed to find a way through. Manzambi's kind of had an interesting World Cup. He's been called out by his own captain, Granit Xhaka, for maybe not playing exactly his role in the team, for freelancing a bit and trying to figure things out. But I think in that game, they needed something different than maybe what the team calls for. And I think now, having come off the bench in 2 games, he was the super sub in that second one. With the 2 goals now, do you think Manzambi is a player that should be in that starting 11 for Switzerland? Nigel?
For Switzerland, yes. The only criticism I have of Manzambi is, like you said, there's a little bit still of maturity that he needs to do. Very talented. And then now I think he has to understand that the talent that he has and that people are talking about him, you have to deliver. I like Granit Xhaka in what he's doing. Granit Xhaka is a leader, a captain of the ship. And if he's calling him out, he's doing it for a reason. He wants to see everyone do well. I think that's the only criticism I have about Manzambi. We've seen him again in the Europa League. He's got a hell of a strike on him. A hell of a strike. Confident young man. Great. But now you have to do it week in, week out. Show a level of consistency in your performance. You can't just turn it on when you want and then turn it off. You have to do it every single week if you want to be highly spoken of in this football and talking about top-level teams. That's what comes with it. They expect it week in, week out in the performances. So I think there's a level of maturity that he needs to just change that mindset and mentality to really reach his full potential.
He will. I just think that as your coach, there's certain players that you feel can make a difference off the bench. And there's players that you think you want to start, but they don't give you what you need on both sides of the ball because he's very good going forward. And he was good defending, but if you watch most games, he doesn't like to track back. And if you're not going to track back in modern soccer, coaches aren't going to play for 90 minutes because you got to be able to do both sides. So I think his biggest thing is, again, maturity. He'll get there. He'll realize that what he does forward, he's got to do at least half of that going backwards. But watching him play the day when he came in, he's a difference maker. He is free-flowing. He's just, when he gets the ball, it's about him. And I like that about, I like selfish forwards because they're the best goal scorers.
And one of many young players that's impressed in this tournament. One of the great things about World Cups is we watch some of the biggest teams, but they're players that are under the radar. The player who picked out for Ivory Coast, there's so many under the radar players that we know can make an impact at a higher level, and they're starting to show it at this World Cup. We have much more on the FIFA World Cup on the way on the Golazo Network. Stick with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt. What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
This is Golazo Matchday, getting you ready for our second game of the day. From Los Angeles, from Hollywood, it is Belgium taking on Iran, two of the top 20 ranked nations in the world, and they'll be doing battle at SoFi Stadium in a key game in the group. Everyone drawing their first game of this group on the opening match day. Alongside Andrew Coker, Marcelo Balboa, I'm Chris Whittingham. Let's get you into the starting 11s for both of these teams. We want to tell you first, though, about Belgium. You can watch every single player in the starting 11 for Belgium at some point in this upcoming club season on Paramount Plus. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, both players for Napoli, Thibaut Courtois for Real Madrid, Charles de Ketelade, currently in Atalanta, player who, of course, plays on Serie A, Jeremy Doku, playing for Manchester City. He is not in the starting 11 today, though, which is among the headlines for a fairly significantly changed Belgium team, Nige, with Lukaku coming into that starting 11 as well. Coming in for Charles de Ketelade, Salmakers is in for Doku, who's out with illness, and it's Raskin who comes into midfield for Amadou Onana.
Yes, Amadou Onana faced some heavy criticism in his performance in that first game. Didn't play well at all, didn't do what he's supposed to do in being a ball winner and giving it to the other players. So some changes there, but I think the biggest one for me is Lukaku coming in there, because the sort of difference that he made, having that traditional number 9, hold-up play, direct straight run into the box, the attention that he draws from other defenders there, causing a problem and free up other players. And obviously a Belgium side that really has to get a result today. Salamaker's getting a chance now with no Doku. That's a strong lineup, and I think Belgium there really and truly need to get this result. And I think with starting with Lukaku, they're showing intent.
Yeah, and we'll see how long he can go, if it's 45 minutes or potentially even longer. Again, in the club season for Napoli, he played 40 minutes in Serie A over the course of the entire 38-game season. He is still coming back to full fitness. As we move on then to Iran, and one of the noteworthy things about Iran, they're fielding the oldest starting 11 in World Cup history. Average age over 32 years in this team. Only 2 players in their 20s, and they're both 27.
Yes, the right back and the left winger there, the only 2 players in their 27. But for this Iran side, it's all about Taremi up top. He is probably their most famous player historically for the nation, and he's the one that's going to have all the pressure to score some goals and make things happen for him in the top end of the pitch there. But history keeps on being made in this World Cup. Oldest ever starting lineup in a World Cup.
And Iran are going to go for it. Of course, we know, obviously, the situation going on in the country, and with the fact that the team has to travel in and out on the day of the game. But for Belgium, let's go back to their team for a moment. And Marcelo, we saw in their first match against Egypt, it completely changed when Romelu Lukaku came on. Now that he's in from the starting 11, the hope would be that they can build him into this tournament so that he can be a key figure as we get into the knockout rounds, if they get there. But what do you think changes about that team with him in it?
You got a post-up player, a guy that can hold off, a player that can engage. I mean, when you play balls into your forward, he's trying to engage his midfield, and I think it's going to create some space. We saw when he came into the game that his run, even though he didn't score it, but that run drew 2 players in. The own goal came. But just having that presence, good in the air, he can hold up and plays well with his back towards goal, but he's also got great pace to get in behind. So I think when you look at a guy like this, now you have a few options. You can pump a few balls into the air, but you can start breaking lines with your passes because you know that you're going to find him, you're going to find De Bruyne. And I think that, for me, is going to be key today, is how many times do they hook up? How many times are they looking for each other to get in behind that back line?
Yeah, I think when you talk about Lukaku, when he plays top opposition, top 1% teams in the world, they're probably going to be comfortable to leave him one-on-one situations. Just goes to speak to the level of defenders and the quality that they have. But when you talk about other opposition, you do have to double up on him. You can't leave him one-on-one with some of your defenders because he can be too good and he's too much of a physical presence and it can cause problems. And even at the best, when it was him and McTominay at Napoli, if you look at most of the clips and goals that McTominay scored, it was just because of Lukaku's presence and drawing two defenders against him to try and stop him from basically causing damage, which led it free to McTominay to making those runs in the box and getting those goals. So they needed him to start today. They need to get a result. And having that traditional number 9, there's a different instinct than these false 10s that we see and these false 9s that number 9s have.
Yeah, and of course, the way that he plays the position is so different than Charles Ketelade, who he replaces in the 11 today. So with Lukaku in the starting 11, one of the other players that is out for today is Jeremy Doku. He misses the game because of illness. But there's been a story going on around this Belgium national team with the fact that going forward at some point, he and his partner are expecting their first child at some point during this World Cup. And he has said that he is going to miss whatever game that it is because he wants to be there for the birth of his first child. And this has led to a significant controversy in Belgium and around some of the media. There was a journalist that basically said it's almost arrogant to leave your team and criticizing. She has since apologized for those comments. But I'd be curious what you guys think about the idea of a player missing such a big occasion from a footballing standpoint for such a big moment in your life personally.
Go.
I'll let you start with this one.
I left the game 2 months before the World Cup in '98. I left camp to go have my second child, and I missed the Holland game. Got a lot of criticism from my coach and other people, but I'm going to say this. Listen, the World Cup to me is a dream come true. It's something as a kid that I wanted to play in. So to put that above, my personal opinion, to put that above having a child and being there for the birth of it, it falls second. I'm sorry. My kids being there with your wife, having that experience of your child being born, you can play another day. You can play the next week. You'll have another game, hopefully. But there's no game in the world that would supersede being there for your son's birth or daughter's birth.
Maybe a World Cup final.
Doesn't matter. You know that.
Listen, it's his personal choice. I'm all for it. I'm fine with it. At the end of the day, we've lived that life as professional football players. I love the game of football, but there's some things more important in life than football. And this is one of those moments. To be there for the birth of your first child, it's amazing. It's great. We play our lives in front of thousands of people every week to see us, the good, the bad, the indifferent. When we're going through our own personal things, the fans who love us on a Saturday are not going to be there to support us. But when you retire from the game of football, you wake up today on Father's Day and your daughters and your son go, "Happy Father's Day, Dad," and give you a hug and a kiss. That's priceless. That's beyond playing in a World Cup final and all that, because that's what it's about. And these same people who want to criticize, who haven't been in this lifestyle, to understand what it's like to be in these moments. And again, we're not all the same when it comes to footballers. You don't know our individual upbringings and what we had to go through in our own personal lives, whether our fathers were there or our dads were there, and you want to break a cycle that might be in your family's life. For me, that's his personal choice. I'm all for it. Go there and be there for the birth of your child, because when you finish done playing, your children and stuff are always going to be there to support you, and fans move on to the next person that's a superstar.
And Doku, at some point, will have to make that decision should Belgium progress in the tournament. They'll have to beat Iran first. That's the 3 o'clock kickoff here in the United States from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. We'll have our betting preview of this one next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Rank? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt. What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
These are the standings of our Golazo Matchday bets so far this World Cup. Look who's in the top two. Marcelo Balboa still dining out on that Virgil van Dijk anytime goal scorer against Japan. And of course, I'm in second. Nigel, we do apologize, but you are rock bottom of the table on $57 from the 6 bets that you made so far. But it's going to change now as we look now towards this Belgium-Iran match, which is kicking off from a SoFi Stadium. What?
Just so you can see.
Right there, number one. Right there, number one. Let's bring in Buckets, though, for a look ahead to this one. And Buckets, the assignment we have been handed for this one is to pick an anytime goal scorer or assister. Who have you gone for in this one?
Can I just say Virgil van Dijk and hope that somehow he pulls it off and I can be like Marcelo and just I'll listen. I'll do the fun one. Last week I gave out Kyle Larin for Canada and Troy Deeney gave me hell for the next 3 days about picking a boring pick. So give me Mehdi Taremi here. We're getting him at plus 290. I like Iran to get at least one goal here. I think it's going to be more competitive than people are giving them credit for. And at almost 3-1, I think he's going to be the guy to get it done today for Iran.
All right, so that is yours. I'm actually going to agree with you on that one. I have also gone for Mehdi Taremi as my anytime goal scorer or assister. So we're both in the Iran camp. You guys have gone for the Belgium side, and Nigel, you're going for Yuri Tielemans, anytime goal scorer or assister.
Yes, I'm going for Yuri Tielemans for an assist or a goal today. I think this is a game he's going to step up to show the quality player that he is for this Belgium national side.
I'm going to go with goal or an assist with De Bruyne. I think watching the last game, the free kick, I think he's feeling it. Lukaku's in. I think he's going to slide one in there, so I'm going with Lukaku.
All right, so Tielemans, Lukaku, and Kevin De Bruyne, we're all watching out for, along with Mehdi Taremi. So it is Belgium against Iran. This match is about to kick off. We hope you enjoy the game. We certainly know that there are quite a few people at the stadium enjoying the game. And these are the Belgium supporters on their way in towards SoFi Stadium. I think with the expat community of Iranians in Los Angeles, we expected quite a significant Iranian support. But the Belgium showing out, too. Look.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation?